is actually not over here, it starts here. So how are we going to do that? Well, we've got to redraw this and assume that it's in there and it's around about there. So now that I've got the ear coming in there, I would most likely bring it in more, and it's to about there. So if I go like that and I increase the size of it to about there, I think that would work. Okay, so that works there. Oops, there goes the wind, which is what happens when we're outside. Okay, and then on this side here, the ear starts about there, which is where we had it. So we'll bring it down. It's a little bit more rounded, but then here it gives us that roundness there. So I think that would be pretty close to what we're trying to achieve. Okay, so we've got that, and we are up to the top. So we're back up here where we've got the hat. Now, as we said before, the hat is obviously larger than the drawing because the whole image that we've worked on is a lot bigger. So from this point of view, I've got to just work with what space I have. But that is a lesson to all of us when we are working out where to place the drawing on a page. One of the techniques that I use when I'm doing something really important that is, important that it works out, I've got to usually say, okay, well, do I want it the same size and kind of work within that and frame it on the page? Or do I want to kind of align it so the nose is in that area, whatever, and I kind of allow it to work better? If I'm going to go bigger, I would have brought it down a bit more, and I should have done that. But I was excited to start and I just kind of didn't worry about it. Okay, so we're here now. We know that the top of the hat is there. It comes around this area here and it's not so much. So I'm going to shorten that a bit. And the same here, I'm going to shorten it there a little bit. And that pretty much will get me where I've got to go. Then the section on top, it goes up quite a bit, maybe not as much. And it goes up a lot higher on this side. So once we've got that, we've got the rim of that hat over there, or the ribbon on it. And then we have this part here, which was correctly drawn as I'd done it there. And the same here, I'll just kind of go like that and bring it down and then bring it up. And that pretty much gives us what we need. So now the next step is we want to shade this area in very, very lightly, as they've done already. We still want a bit of graininess in it, so I would say just try and press a little harder every now and then, if you can, just to give it that effect. Fill out the bottom and the top. There we go, that'll do. That gives you that line. Okay, and then we're back to here. We want to shade in these other areas that are shaded. So first of all, we've got here the ears and this top section here. Okay, that's fine too. All right, so let's start here. So I'm going to be coloring in. You can start from here. I probably want to start from here. And I'm going to get that diagonal on an angle shading. So it's on that side angle. And it gives it a certain effect that is in alignment with the rest of the shading. As you can see, it's all on that kind of angle. So the same here, just take it on that angle. It doesn't need to be too grainy, keeping the pressure on that pencil really light all the way around. Stay within the lines as best as you can. That's important too. We all learn to color when we're young and it's not easy, but what we do want to do is try and keep it as clean as we can. Okay, so I'm rubbing out that extra line that was in the drawing that wasn't needed. Seeing we've adjusted it, both inside the ears and out, and again on the other side too, just really cleaning it up carefully. We are going to shade it in, so it's not necessary to get it completely out. Again, that measurement, vertical line in there and a bit more there, that can all go. And here we won't be shading this, so we just want to clean it up a little bit. Yep. And the teeth in there, so I'm going to rub all that out. Okay, so I've got all that out, and that little bit more here has to go. Okay, and that has to go as well. So just clean all those bits up while we're here doing this. Again, here and here. And I did mention before about the rubber. It's important to have a clean rubber, but when you're drawing, rubbers do get dirty, so you've got to be really careful when you're rubbing not to ruin your artwork with it. When I'm working on my book projects and stuff, I'm a lot more careful. But today we are just drawing for enjoyment, wellness, just taking time out from our busy days and enjoying a breath of fresh air outside, which is always nice. Okay, so we've cleaned it up, almost done there. Okay, so we're good to go now. All right, so let's continue with the shading. So we've gone on that angle there. Now, the reason why I wanted to clean it up is I kind of want to start from here. Now, another thing is when sharpening a pencil, it's important to have your pencils nice and sharp, but when you're drawing, sometimes you'll find that a sharp pencil won't allow you to get the effect you want. So you might not want to sharpen the pencils, or you may want to sharpen it as required, but as here it's quite a fluffy kind of grain. There is the darker grain in it, but at the same time it's got that real softness in it, and we want to maintain that. So I'm going to just keep that going. Got some darker grains in there, and then shading through all the way around. Shouldn't have probably gone upwards with that, but just really lightly to fill it out to get this done. Okay, so I've got that, and then we go to this side here, and we're going to do exactly the same. So we're going to start up here, and every now and then press a little harder, but keeping it quite medium grained, fluffy. Let's keep it going from there. And I think when you're drawing, you've got to not put pressure on yourself. When I was young and I would want to draw something, it was kind of like, oh, I had to get it to fit in the page and had to get it exactly as it was, but I didn't know what I was looking for, and I just kind of would start all right, but half the time it wouldn't fit on the page, or it just wouldn't work out. It just was lopsided, or you know, parts of it didn't align. And I think, look at it almost mathematically. Everything's made up of shapes, it's made up of measurements and sizes. So if you can visually start to see those things clearly, then you can also visually begin to see how those things, you know, come together, and then you can actually make them come together. Okay, inside the mouth, which is over here. Now the lines, as you can see in the photocopy from, the printout from Pinterest, it is quite grainy but light. So I'm trying to twist the pencil where it's a little bit sharper, and that's going to allow me to have that grainier kind of effect that we wanted to get. Okay, so we've got that. So basically shaded in there and there. We've got the nose shaded, and then we've got the tops of the ears here. So we haven't done that, so I'm just going to color that in there. And then I'm going to start very lightly, again, following in the same way I've done there. And the same thing here, just making that a little bit more obvious. And then again, shade, shade, shade. Okay, like that. I'm just going to rub that tiny little bit out there that shouldn't have been there. Okay, so I've got all of that. It runs all the way up there. We've already colored this bit in here. The last thing we need to do, because Goofy's almost done, just rub out some more of that pencil that's in there. That does not need to stay. Okay, the last thing to complete our drawing, as far as I can see, is to add in the hair. So in order to add in the hair, again, we don't want it too sharp, but somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to twist my pencil so I can feel a little bit of sharpness, but still a bit of depth and fluffiness to that pencil line. So I almost want to just flick it out that way. And the same thing here, this line might be a bit longer, slightly a little bit darker, and then one more, this one comes up and out like that. There we go. And there is our Goofy. So as you can see, we are looking, there we go. We have Goofy. So I'm going to turn this around for you in a second. Just make some space here. And I think it'd be nice if I just sign that. So I'm going to sign it. Even though it's in pencil, and I am going to date it, but I've got to work out what the date is and I'm not sure. So I might do that later. So we are done. So I'm going to twist this around. There we go. And as you can see, we have Goofy. There we go. It's a pretty good match. That's a pretty good match. So I'm happy with that. I'll just put that down there, and you can draw this too. So I just hope more than anything that if you're somebody that wants to find something to do that would allow you to spend some time outside or inside in a quiet area and would allow you to explore your creative side, find some pictures that inspire you, or sit outside in front of a tree, or if you've got a pet that you want to draw. But starting off with animation, I love animation, have loved it my whole life since the early days when I was introduced to it by Peter Struck, my teacher for graphic design and art, and it just always stuck with me. And I think Disney has been my greatest inspiration since day one. So I just want to inspire people to be able to take a pencil. It doesn't take a lot. I actually today, just to show you, I've got here my son's texters and ink pens and stuff, and I got these for him a few years back. It's been sitting in a cupboard. I saw it there today and I took it out. But when I'm working on my characters for Hullabaloo, the Funky Singing Monkey, and the Hullabaloo book series, I use the Copic sketch markers and ink pens that I have, all the professional stuff that I already have in my supplies. So and that creates my products. But it's not to say that you can't create something amazing using a simple pencil. I've got a Derwent Studio pencil here in black, and I also used earlier a grey lead, just a simple grey lead sketch pencil, any size, whatever you think is good for what you're doing. And I used a rubber and some paper. So this is as simple as it gets. And I think, if you can spend half an hour or an hour or 10 minutes drawing every day, you'll find that a part of yourself comes alive, and it's quite rewarding. I haven't drawn for a while, apart from doing the stuff that I've done for my books that are coming out, but it just goes to show that anybody can be an artist if you just stop what you're doing and just focus and zone in on something that is a lot more enjoyable and relaxing. So this is Nancy D'Agostino here. Hope you enjoyed this today and get a chance to watch both videos and actually draw with me and use this way of drawing to create other pieces of art, both during COVID-19 and beyond. Okay, see ya.